A court of fairies and fiction. Akafath Girls Podcast. Hosts Mel and Liv. Episode 8, the one where we discuss CC2.
Okay. All right, so I basically just updated a little Olivia on the page on Crescent City where Bryce was talking about all the worlds that the Asteri had conquered or lost, and how we were right about Hell being the good guys. The Princes of Hell being the good guys. But what I don't get is, like, Thanatos still wants to eat people.
Yeah. Because I was thinking about that. Remember, like, the mystic, and he was like,
I'm gonna
sip
eat
on
you,
your
Bryce.
blood.
Like, what?
So is Thanatos like the outlier brother that's like just like awful?
Is that why he's stuck in Hewn City?
That's what I think. I think that's the reason why.
Was he I'm wondering if he's one that, like, joined the Asteri.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I didn't know that they had joined them, but I do find it. So I think what we're gonna see. Are you gonna go over this in your theory? I think
Maybe.
that it's gonna be like Rhys and Adis must be brothers, right? They have
to be,
right?
Like I said, I don't think Rhys says that he has, like, protocols or whatever for Hewn City. He can't make them fight because, like, Thanatos is there. It has to be Thanatos's, like, realm or level.
Unless we're wrong and, like, Rhys isn't Apollyon and Rhys is literally like a fae, or a god, maybe.
And then Rigelis finds her. He says, she's like, why do any of this? And he says, why do you drink water and eat food? We are higher beings. We are gods. You cannot blame us if our source of nutrition is inconvenient for you. We allow you to roam free on this planet, healthy and happy. We even let the humans live all this time just to give you Vanir someone to rule over. In exchange, all we ask is for a little of your power. Then she goes, you're parasites.
They are. I love Bryce. Bryce is such a cool character. She's so cool.
And it turns out, like I said, Rigelis knew the entire time because he was pretending to be Adis, which he admits to them because he's cocky. And Bryce says, why do you want me here? And he says, to reopen the rifts. You are starborn and have the horn bound to your body in power. Your ancestors wielded it. And another Fae object, which I think is the harp, because it says it could open any door in any world.
Yeah.
That allowed them to enter this world, stolen, of course, from their original masters, our people. So more Asteri.
Yeah. So remember when I was saying in Akasef that the last owner of the harp was super cruel and evil. So it was an Asteri that owned the harp last. Who they're referring. Yep. Okay.
And then he says, our people who built fearsome warriors in that world to be their army. It has to be the Illyrians.
It is the Illyrians.
All of them prototypes for the angels in this one. Hence the devil wings before they made them lighter.
Yeah.
And all of them traitors to their creators, joining the Fae to overthrow my brothers and sisters.
Wait.
1,000 years before we arrived on Midgard, they slew my siblings. So the Daglin are the siblings of the Asteri.
Yeah.
The Daglin and the Asteri are the same species. And Valg probably is too.
It must just be different words, different names.
Yeah.
On different planets.
And then he says,
I love this book so much.
Midgard is a base. We open the doors to other worlds to lure their citizens here. So many powerful beings also eager to conquer new planets, not realizing that we were their conquerors. But we also opened the doors so we might conquer those other worlds as well. The Fae, Queen Thea and her 2 foolish daughters, realized that, though too late. Her people were already here, but she and the princesses discovered where my siblings had hidden the access points in their world.
Yeah.
Your
Wait,
star-born ancestors shut the gates to stop us from invading their realm once more and reminding them who their true masters are. In the process, they shut the gates to all other worlds, including those to Hell, their stalwart allies. Allies. So we
hmm,
have been trapped here, cut off from the cosmos, all that is left of our people, though our mystics beneath this palace have long sought to find any other survivors and any planets where they might be hiding.
Asteries survivors?
Hybern and Amarantha!
Do you think so?
Okay, Amarantha wanted to made herself queen, wanted to be a queen, had rule over all of Prithian. And then Hybern wanted to take over the whole continent. Like they both had the black eyes.
But what does that prove that they just want to take that? How does that prove that they're a stary? You know what I mean?
Well, they were still working for their cause, so they were probably going to figure out a way. Like I said, like Amarantha probably wanted Tamlin for his Starborn power. They were probably, and Hybern wanted Feyre
To open
to
the
open the
portal.
rifts if they were under their control. And I think that's also why Hybern put the sisters in the cauldron, hoping that they would be as made as Feyre. And then he took Elaine, remember?
He did well. The cauldron took Elaine.
Well, yeah, cauldron took Elaine. Hybern trapped her, though.
Yeah.
Why do you think we
Well,
allowed you to live this spring? You are the key to opening the doors between worlds again. You will undo the actions of one ignorant princess 15,000 years ago.
the actions of an
It
ignorant
has to be Thea and Adis's daughter. It has to
Of
be that daughter.
course.
Has
Of
to be.
course it's of course it's our daughter, but you
So
want to know
who
what?
is it? Who
I don't
is
think
it
we've
in Prithian?
I don't think we've met her yet, right? I don't think we
Have to
have.
have met her. We have to have met her.
What make because I'm trying to think like who could possibly be, and
Oh,
there's nobody.
I had a theory.
What?
It's a little out there,
Okay.
but I had a theory. Do you remember how before they were distracted by the sisters coming in or whatever, Hybern called Moore queen?
I do remember that.
What if the princess, like the original princess or whatever, was her mother?
Okay, Moore's mom.
Because Rhys does say, like, we don't talk about Moore's mother. It's weird. She's never mentioned. There has to be a reason that Kier, like Thanatos, is okay with Kier ruling Hewn City. Is it
Yeah.
because Princess, I don't know, Princess, Queen, whatever, do they technically outrank the Princes of Hell? If she's a queen, she would outrank a prince, right?
Right.
So if he's married to her and in that world the males lead,
Okay.
I don't know. It's a little out there, but
No, I mean,
mm,
I'm just trying. I'm so confused because
I don't think it
I've been
would be
trying.
though, because like her mother's not that nice.
So I'm trying to think. It's like Adis and Thea's kid, right?
Yeah.
So are
I would say
we?
Jessica.
That's what I would say. I would say Jessica, but the Asteri know Jessica. She's at
Well,
their
well,
conference.
Bryce says a couple scenes after this, she says, Gods, did Jessica know? She'd kept Parthos's remaining books, knowing the Asteri would want to wipe out the narrative that contradicted their own sanctioned history. So Jessica had to know what kind of beings ruled here.
See, that's what I mean. And when you think about Jessica, she's like a witch, right? So like that kind of makes sense. But also, like, she has like endless amounts of money. Like Bryce is like always calling her to like tap her out for
Yeah,
like money.
not to
Like,
mention she's close to Adis. That would make
yeah.
sense if she was his daughter.
Well, yeah, because it was interesting, like he was like, I didn't even trust you, which I thought was really weird. Like,
Yeah.
but then like why are they on a bench like
Yeah.
talking? Like,
Well,
I don't know.
see, he could say, I didn't even trust you, because it seems like both of the daughters were closer with their mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Um,
because
unless Jessica is just the attachments, like one of the attachments that Hell.
I do think it's funny how they have the same hair color, though.
I thought the same thing.
Right?
And is there something to be said that Jessica turns her previous lover, I mean, into like maybe I'm crazy, but
She's
like
powerful. She's crazy powerful.
she's crazy powerful. She turns them into like animals. Like, do we know who the animals are that are in her little weird thing? Like, whatever you want to call that. Is there
No.
like a Prince
Yeah.
Pelias? No, they killed him, but
Pelias, yeah, they killed it.
Pelias.
But yeah, I mean, I
Who
think the
I mean, who
most
else could it
logical would
be?
be Jessica.
Right?
But I don't know. To me that
There
kind of makes it seem like she's still in the Prithian world.
I don't know. Well,
Unless
so
Jessica
yeah.
being the daughter of Adis can go back and forth like him.
Well, she does. She's weird because Bryce is like calling her a lot. Like, I don't think we actually ever
Things
see
just show
her.
up.
Yeah, but like, I don't think we actually see her in Crescent City too, ever.
No, she just calls her on the phone.
She just calls her on the phone,
She's
right?
damn busy. You know who
Um,
else is very damn busy in
who?
Crescent City 2? Cormac's father. He's very shady with, oh, my father, um, I had to do work for my father, and I had to do work for my father, and I had to do this for my father, and then Bryce publicly calls off the engagement, and then he's just like, I had to deal with my father, and then he has this whole conversation with Rune about, how did your dad not break you because mine broke me, and all that
Cormac?
stuff. Yeah.
Cormac said his dad broke him.
Yes, he
That's
says
so sad.
it's so sad. Hold on, I have it right
I love
here.
how like all of them have these like really horrific fathers. That's like the
It's
theme.
always the dads.
That
I
just
don't get
like
it.
the fucking worst dads. There's like an absentee mom. Like there are never any moms besides Lady A that are involved in.
Yeah. What one of
Hmm.
the daughters could be Lady A, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, again,
Well, yeah,
Aenar
Autumn Court.
Starborn.
Yeah.
Aenar is Starborn.
Ina is Starborn.
Mm-hmm.
And she's called an ignorant daughter.
Uh-huh.
Wonder why. Like she would be considered ignorant because
I know. It's weird.
unless we haven't met her and she's trapped in the stone and that's who's whispering in the stone or whatever, and that's who Elaine, like you said,
Yeah.
who Elaine is hearing, because I know there was a
Marlene.
theory. And, I really don't like Elaine, but I do at the same time. She was so
She's going
shitty.
through it, man. She's just
I
getting through it.
Lucian's going through it.
She's going through it too. I'm trying to
Um,
find the fucking. Oh, here it is.
yeah,
Um,
read it. Let's hear it.
okay.
I just love this book. Whoever says Crescent City isn't a good
I
book
know.
or a good series, like you have to. I'm telling you, you have to reach it. You have to read it because it's so good.
This was. Oh my God. This was so
Are you gonna
cute.
break my heart?
It hurts. Um. Cormac caught
Cormac.
him looking and said, I don't know how your father never managed to do it. Do what? Rune leaned his forearms on the oak bar. Break you, the kindness in you. He tried, Rune choked out. My father did too, and won, he snorted, taking his beer from the bartender. I wouldn't have bothered to check on you. Yet you expended a lot of time and risk on finding her. Sophie.
Oh,
The prince shrugged, perhaps, but deep down I am what I've always been, the male who would have gladly killed you and your friends. Rune tugged on his lip ring. You're telling me this right before we head off. I suppose I'm telling you this to apologize. I was jealous of you then and now for your friends, for the fact that you have them, that you don't let your father corrupt what is best in you. But had I been forced to marry your sister, I think with time she might have undone the damage my father did to my soul. Bryce has that effect on people. She will be a good princess, as you are a good prince. I'm starting to get disturbed by all this niceness. Rude. Cormac drank again. I'm always pensive the night before an appointment. Tell me what you think this reminds you of. For a glimmer, Rune could see the male his cousin might yet become. Serious, yes, but fair. Someone who understood the cost of a life. A good king.
Who?
Cassian
Who?
and Eris. I think you might even be a good male,
Good
Eris,
male.
even though you're too much of a coward to show it. Cormac has been the Eris of this series. When all this shit is done, Rune said, I want us to start over. Us. You and me, prince to prince, future king to future king. Screw the past and screw that shit with the Star Sword. Screw our fathers. We don't let them decide who we get to be. We'll carve our own paths. Cormac smiled sadly, then took Rune's hand, clasping firmly. It would be an honor. So then when they get to the lab and they go to
I love Robin. I
and
love
they go
Rune.
to explode it, Tharian is there and he's like, he realizes, he's like, Cormac never planned to make it out alive. That's why he was apologizing.
You're gonna literally bring me to tears because I love these characters. I think Cormac, yeah, he knew he was gonna die.
There's so many super cute scenes between Rune and Bryce too.
I know she's so mean. She's so
So
mean.
he's like, you're more powerful than our father. You have to take his place as queen. And I think if she does, that's why he's the last of the line, because he's like the last male. It would be a
Yeah.
queen and not a king. I
Yeah.
think that's what's gonna happen.
You don't think they're gonna cut his balls off?
They made that joke already. Well, it wasn't really a joke. The harpy was saying it, and then Lydia killed her for him. He was very shook.
Who was shook? He was?
Rune was shook because the hind showed up and killed the harpy for him.
Did he know she was Day before she killed the harpy?
Like right before. Like the
Really?
same scene. He was like, "Oh shit." But she helped him. She's the one that unlocked Bryce's shackles so that she could eventually escape. Baxian jumped on Mordock. So at the end it was Hunt, Rune, and Baxian all. Baxian's gonna die and Cassian's gonna die.
You can't. Baxian's dead. Baxian.
All the Ians are gonna die.
It's like she was sitting at her desk, like, okay, everyone that ends with an IAN.
IAN, it's gonna
die. I love Baxian. I actually do love Baxian, and I think he would be okay with it. I think it's gonna be like a Cormac thing because his mate's dead. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't want to be around without his mate, and I think Cormac didn't want to be around without Sophie. Right? Is that what you got too from it?
So this is the part though where I think Cormac had a backup plan.
Oh, you really think he? Okay.
Yeah. So he's talking to Bryce, and Cormac goes, he asked you to be queen, didn't he? Talking about Rune. And she said, how did you know? And he said, I might have caught the end of your conversation. And she goes, spare me. And he said, and you were right too when we first met, and you said the oracle's prophecy was vague. I understand now. She didn't mean our union and marriage would bring prosperity to our people. She meant our union as allies in this rebellion. But after today, ... I think the choice about whether to lead our people forward will be up to you. So, like, maybe he planned on dying, but the whole scene, I don't think I screenshotted it, but when he dies, he kind of looks like Lydia, like his whole body is flame, which again, Cormac has fire powers.
So it's weird because no one has fire powers.
Fire powers and shadow powers.
Yeah.
So like autumn and night. Weird.
Super
but
weird.
Anyway, he becomes a huge ball of flame and he pushes it out to like disintegrate everybody. And then he keeps pushing it out, and then the lab blows up. So I'm hoping
It was suicide. He committed suicide,
but
basically.
so that's what they said. They're like, the lab blew up with Cormac, the rebels, and the mech suits in it, or whatever. But I think it was also a shield.
Why?
So everyone's like, so he was shot with a Gorsian bullet?
Yeah.
No, he was he was shot with a Gorsian bullet, and then he was shot with a mech suit cannon. It goes right through his chest. Like right through his chest. There's a hole in him. And after that is when he does the flame thing. So I'm like, if it nullifies magic, how do you do the flame thing?
The mech suit cannon nullifies magic?
The Gorsian bullet. They shot him first,
okay.
and then they did
Went
the
right
mech
through
suit cannon, which like went right through him, which ouch, he was like bleeding. Whatever. Because I think they did that so he wouldn't like heal. But if it nullifies magic, like how did he do his flame thing?
Yeah.
I think it was a shield.
I hope so, because I would love for
because
Cormac.
remember how we said that Cormac was a shadow singer, like Az?
Yeah.
And remember in the High Lords meeting when Az attacks Eris, he has a blue flame shield.
Okay.
Not even Baron can pierce it with his fire. I think he made it out. I think he's gonna be like a big part of saving them. He says some other really sketch shit, which I forgot to screenshot. But he says some really sketchy, like foreshadowy shit before
Like
he
what?
supposedly dies.
Like give me a summary. You don't have to read it, but like what do you remember
I forget what it was.
Okay. Okay. Look, I would
he calls them like
being alive.
They don't even have wards around this place.
But,
Anyways, I'm just gonna quickly go through some of these notes here.
Yeah. But why would he do that? Like, why would he fake his death? So that's easier to work covertly.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and
yeah, because it's either fake his death or be trapped like the other two that were all found. Bryce was found, Hunt was found, Rune was found. Tharian had to run. He told Tharian to run. Tharian made it out. Tharian made it out. He was like, and then run.
And then what did Tharian do when he made it out?
We don't know. We don't know. That's the thing. Bryce is like, at least Tharian had made it out unidentified. So we don't know. Also, Tharian did defect from his River Queen.
We knew that was gonna happen.
But do you know who he defected to?
I saw some spoiler art the other day.
Fucking Viper Queen.
Why Viper Queen, not the Ocean Queen?
Because he had 30 minutes until the River Queen's daughter, she was pissed that he was breaking off their engagement. So she's like, I'm going to tell my mother.
Happen.
Huh?
Remember?
Yeah.
I told you that was gonna happen.
She's like, I'm going to tell my mother. And he's like, I know she'll trap me beneath forever. So I have about 30 minutes till she makes it to her. And he's like, the Ocean Queen's ships won't make it here in 30 minutes. The only person I can reach in 30 minutes is the Viper Queen.
So he had to go to her.
So he ran to her and he's like, I'll be one of your fighters. I'll be your fucking slave. Like, please just let me defect to you. So then she was like, okay. And she had him drink her blood. And yeah, then the River Queen couldn't get him because it was like creeping up. Like he could feel her power creeping up to like drown them or whatever. And then the minute he like drank her blood, like it went away. I was like,
so
so now he's her fighter. So House of Many Waters is basically going to be him trying to figure out a way out of this fucking deal with the Viper Queen. I bet.
Is that why we don't know what happens to Tharian?
We don't know what happens to him because he's like, even when he was helping them, he's like, I can still feel the invisible leash drawing myself back to her. And like her voice in his head, like, you help your friends and you come back here.
So she was still trying to talk to him?
I don't know if it was like a physical voice or just like the
Like,
tether.
oh.
He's like, I can feel the tether.
So I bet you anything, Therion is going to become like the king of Midgard when the Asteri is killed. Don't you think so?
Maybe.
Or of all the mer
I
people?
don't know. I mean, it could just be Bryce and Hunt
What do you mean?
as like king and queen when they destroy the Asteri, because I don't think they're gonna stay in Prithian.
You don't?
I
Why
don't.
do you think that?
Because I mean, it's not like her parents are in Midgard.
But it's like, you know what's so weird is like when people find out it's literally like a feeding farm, basically. Like,
But once the Asteri are gone, they're basically
yeah,
all free again.
yeah. That's literally so good and so crazy and sad to me because like I love how SJM wrote Rune and like Bryce and like Cormac and their and like the relationships in this book
I know.
are so in Crescent City, they're so fucking good.
They're so good. Oh, here it is. Cormac hadn't gone rogue. He'd never intended to get out alive. Mm. Oh yeah, it was a mech suit sword. A glowing electrified sword plunged into the floor in front of him, and then yeah, they like.
Cormac.
But again, he still had his magic, which reminds me of Lucian under the mountain.
But like how did he know he was gonna die that day, I wonder? Or was he just like
Exactly. He was planning it. He
I'm gonna tell you
was.
something. If he was playing it, I'm gonna send you a Starbucks all the way from Arizona. I'm gonna be like, Melanie, you're fucking brilliant. Like, seriously
I
though.
swear to God, I have never seen someone so obviously fake their death in my life.
So like
I'm
I
calling
love
it
that you
right
say
now.
that. Really?
Bryce is in Midgard. Therian is now attached to the Viper Queen because he told her, "Let me go help my friends, and then you will have me forever." He literally said, like, "You will have me forever." So
Okay,
Therian's,
Therion, I
she's not
love
gonna
you.
let him leave.
And who
Bryce
is
is
the
in
Viper?
Prithian. Who else do they have? Flynn and Deck aren't gonna go in there alone.
Did you read the Ethan bonus chapter?
I did.
Apparently he went and got the his mates out of the
He
tube.
did. I'm so excited.
And
Sabine was pissed. I love the Prime though. I hope he never dies.
wait, Sabine found out about it?
Sabine knew about it, and that's why he went to get her. Because he knew Sabine would go kill her.
Why is Sabine so sketch? Like, why does
She
she
wants to be like in
alpha?
power.
Okay, but like, why is she? Why? Because that other girl would challenge
Yeah,
Sabine.
she's an alpha too. Yeah.
So, like, if Ethan has her, it's like two of them against her. Okay.
And the Prime doesn't really like his daughter, honestly.
The Prime
She's
is
a
so
raging
cool.
bitch. Like he liked Danica better.
I literally envision the Prime as like this, like super
Super
old
old, hunched
dude.
over. Yeah.
Yeah. But I found it interesting. I forgot about this point that do you know that Connor instead of Danica was the alpha and he was supposed to be the one to
Hmm.
take over the pack.
Yeah, that's why he was like Connor's pack, which would have been my pack.
But he gave it to Danica because he
Yeah.
saw her potential.
Yeah.
So I found it interesting that SJM was really sketch on her interview the other night that like Connor might not be alive. So is Connor going to come back and like join the pack with Ethan and his new girlfriend?
I
Or
think
his
he's dead, unfortunately. I think he's
you
dead.
you do think he's legit dead?
Yeah, I do.
What changed your mind? Because remember we were talked a couple
I
days ago.
know. Just the interview because they were like, "Is Danica dead?" She's like, "Yeah." They're like, "Is Connor dead?" She's like, "Yeah." Like they're dead. So I was like,
I
okay.
love that she acts like she's such an actress because
They're
I
dead.
love that
The way she just skated over Tamlin. That's my next point. Tamlin has to be a major fucking player in Crescent City 3.
you know what, that interview ruined it for me because I was convinced he was going to be like a
He
huge
is.
thing.
I'm convinced. I think that's why she said nothing about it.
But she didn't not. She said nothing, but then she also like talked negatively
But I
about
feel
him.
like she always
Yeah.
does that.
She always talks. I've never seen an author do that.
So-
she hates him so much.
But does she though? So,
I
okay.
mean,
So Danica was researching her history using a book called Wolves Through Time: Lineage of the Shifters. And it goes through the bloodline that there were Fendirs and Havellans.
oh, Havelin.
Like, is that Tamlin's last
Is
name?
that Tamlin's line?
And then in the end of Crescent City 2, when Rigellis is spilling all their secrets because he's cocky as fuck, he said it prompted her to investigate her own bloodline's history all the way back to the shifter's arrival in this world to learn where her gifts came from. She eventually began to suspect the truth. Danica realized that the shifters are Fae. Because remember, they didn't know that they were Fae. Here,
That's
he said,
Tamlin. Hello. Tamlin.
not your kind of Fae. Your breed dwelled in a lovely, verdant land rich with magic, Prithian. If it's of any interest to you, your starborn bloodline specifically hailed from a small isle a few miles from the mainland. The prison or Highburn? Which one? Is that why they invaded Highburn Island? Was that the Starborn Island? Because everyone's saying it's the prison, but the prison's like tiny. And while the mainland had all manner of climes, the isle existed in beautiful, near-permanent twilight, so dusk, obviously. But only a select few in the entirety of your world could shift from their humanoid forms to their animal ones. He's a rare baby.
It's fucking Tamlin.
It's Tamlin. He said the Midgard shifters were Fae from a different planet. All of the Fae
Those
in
are
that
the Tog.
all of the Fae in that world shared their form with an animal. The Mer descended from them too. Perhaps they once shared a world with your breed of Fae, but they had been alone on their planet for long enough to develop their own gifts. And then she says they don't have pointed ears, the shifters. He said, oh, we bred that out of them. It was gone within a few generations.
Why would they breed that out?
So Tam Tam is a special little bean who still has his pointed ears.
I love Tam.
Only a select few in your world can shift into their animal forms. He's so special.
He's so special, and like they know about him.
Which goes back to Lucian saying Tamlin is a different breed.
He is so like this is what I don't understand. Is why make him so special? Why make him so different?
She's knowing us. She has to be.
I mean, that's what I thought. But then
even
that last interview,
even Rhys said like, "Oh, Tamlin's like shape-shifting magic is like more volatile," or whatever he says about him in like book 2 or whatever.
He's very magical. He has to be very magical. Like obviously the Asteri and the Asteri know of him. By the way,
and Bryce says,
"No, go ahead."
Bryce says, "Why lie to everyone?" And Rigella says, 2 breeds of Fae, both rich in magic. They were ideal food. We couldn't allow them to unify against us. So he bred the Fae out of the shifters and then turned them against each other. Which as we see, Rune was like, oh, the wolves. And the wolves are like, oh, the Fae. But the wolves are Fae. Tam and his little pointy ears. I love that.
I love you,
Tamlin. She said, so you turned them against each other, made them 2 species at odds. Yes, the shifters easily and swiftly forgot what they had once been. They gladly gave themselves to us and did our bidding, led our armies, and still do. The Prime had said something similar. The wolves had lost what they had once been. Danica had known that. Danica had known the shifters had once been Fae. Were still Fae, but a different kind.
That's Aylin's world. It has to be.
And
it's like Rowan too. Like Rowan's a shifter.
Yeah, and they're all shifters. Lysandra, right? All of them.
Here's my thing though. So Tamlin is not from Tog. Is that the deal?
No, so he's from Prithian because he says only a select few in your world could shift into their animal forms. Special little bean.
I like love him. Okay, and then
Which people could argue and have argued with me about, like, well, all of the High Lords can shift, but it's different because Tamlin's main form of magic is shapeshifting. So he can
yeah,
shapeshift at will with ease, as we
yeah.
see, like, his claws come out when he's angry, right? And in the war, like, Rhys and Helion really had to, like, focus and dig down deep to turn into their beast forms. And they don't like doing it because it feels wrong. And Tamlin's just like, naturally, all right, beast. Faye. Like,
Like
in a
she
flash
I
of gold light.
in my heart, like I feel like he has to be so crucial, but then like the way she talks about him, it's just like I don't know. If
It's
he
getting
isn't
more
in,
and more suspicious to me.
yeah. If he isn't in Crescent City 3, I'm gonna be super disappointed.
It would make absolutely no fucking sense with this huge second plot line of the shifters.
Of drifters. Also, the Starlight Pool, I'm thinking maybe was an access point for the Asteri.
Oh, it's definitely the Southern Rift. Because the Ramiel one has to be the Northern Rift.
Oh,
Northern
where
and
they say
North and South poles.
yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then I have a couple other points with that, but
Yeah,
my
let's hear it.
stupid screenshots aren't in order, so let's do this first. She said, and Project Thur, why was Danica so interested in that? And he says, Thur was the last time someone got as far as Danica did in learning about us. It didn't end well for them. I suppose she wanted to learn from their mistakes before acting. And the only person I could think of was Hunt's mom.
Tell me.
I think that Hunt's lightning is pure first light. I think he was created with first light and somebody's blood, kind of like the horn was created with Peleus's blood and Apollyon's essence.
Okay.
I think he was bred with first light and somebody's blood. We don't know his dad yet. I'm guessing another Prince of Hell,
Okay.
right? Or it could be the Hawk. We didn't, I don't know. We never met the Hawk, so we don't know. But anyways, first light and some unknown father's blood. They knew that his mother was poor. They lived in the slums. So I think the Asteri are like, we will pay you this much or whatever to implant this and like birth this child for us. And she was like, okay, or whatever. And then I think she kind of looked into it or had friends in high places that looked into it and are like, they're gonna take my kid and like they can't be doing this to a kid. So I think she became a rebel and Thur was her agent code name.
Hmm.
Like Agent Daybright. I think she was Agent Thur. And she's like, I'm not handing my child back to them. I don't care if he's my
Interesting.
blood or not. Like, this is my child. And they
Well,
killed her because she wouldn't give him back to them. Because I never believed the story that, someone ransacked the house and killed her for money. Like, no.
it just doesn't make sense because she
It
like
just
had none.
no. Because like then why
Uh,
is Hunt so powerful? Why does he have all these crazy gifts? Especially a gift that can supercharge Bryce, who's conveniently his mate.
I don't like what you're getting at there. What are you trying to say?
His father, I think his father is a fae. I don't know exactly who yet. But I said
It would
it could be the Hawk, it could be we don't know. Because again, in the cover of Crescent City 2, he's half fae.
he is half fae. Well, that's why that
Or
Murdoch is saying, hmm,
or they just again petri dish baby, but or they could have just been like little bit of fae, little bit of angel, shit ton of first light. See what this creates. I honestly think he was just bred as this. I think he was supposed to be like an unending source of power, like a backup battery. And that's
Yeah.
why he was a slave.
Yeah.
Because his lightning, again, literally charges up Bryce. He could literally charge up all the Asteri. I think his lightning is first light.
Well, so are you saying that, did you say that Regulus, he found Bryce? Is that what you were saying?
Oh yeah. He found Bryce in the archive room. But he
Oh,
planned it. He planned it all.
I thought,
Every single step that they took, he planned. He even set it up so that Micah found the synth and killed the pack of devils. That's how far ahead he was. She was like, "What?" He's like, "You think that cocky asshole did it himself?" Like, no, he fell right into my trap and thought it was his idea. Which, which,
that's like such a good story. This is so good.
which reminds me of Koshi and how smart and ahead of the curve he's said to be. Like, he's always 10 steps ahead. Astronomer, the tubs. Rigulus has mystics that search for their long lost relatives on other planets, survivors.
I'm just like so amazed right now. I don't even know what to.
But I don't know. It's my little crack theory that Project Thur was I don't know, was his mom, and they killed his mom to get him back because she was like, "You're not taking my kid. I don't care if he's my blood." Or he might have been her blood too because he is part angel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, he sounds like the ultimate like prototype, right? Like,
They
I
basically
don't
said
know.
the Illyrians were prototypes of angels. Like they were the
Absolutely,
fuck ups.
absolutely. And then they join the Fae. I love that so much. So, like, I hate if there's anything that changed my opinion of the Night Court and Rezan, who I still, it would be Crescent City because, like, and I love Cassian and
Well,
Az.
again, hell, like the princes of hell are now like the good guys. So even if he is Apollyon, and
it
he,
doesn't matter.
yeah, basically. Oh yeah, he says we were
Well, no,
eventually
finish your thought.
notified.
What were you gonna say?
I was going back to my note, but
Oh, okay.
it says we were eventually notified by one of our mystics who learned it from prying into the mind of Ophian's command. We did a little tugging, pointed Micah toward the synth, toward Danica. You think Micah acted alone? He was a brash, arrogant male. All it took was some nudging, and he killed her for us. Had no idea it was on our behalf, but it played out as we planned. He was eventually caught and killed for disturbing our peace. I thank you for that.
He was eventually caught and killed.
Yeah, by Bryce. He like set up the whole thing. They're like a
Yeah,
billion steps ahead of them.
so, I had a question for you. Why do we only hear from one Asterion? Why is the Eternal City dusty and old? I saw a quote.
No. Yeah, they were like, it's so old. Like, why is it so old? Like, why is there no technology in here?
Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird
And
to you?
I love that when Bryce makes it to Prithian, she looks at like Nesta's dress or whatever, and she's like, these clothes are like something out of a fantasy show.
She said that of Nesta's dress. Wait, like what? Like a fantasy? Like what's that
She's like,
mean?
why do they dress like they're in like a fantasy show?
Like,
So funny in her thoughts.
is it super sexy or is it just like it's like a
No, it's
weird?
just like Nesta's like long dress and like their armor, and she's like, they look like something out of a fantasy show.
I love Bryce. I fucking love Bryce. She's so good. She's so cool.
Yeah, there was I know I have a lot of these pauses, but there's a lot of
No, that's
crap
okay.
here.
I really like it. I'm so excited to finish this book now. I'm still gonna do it. I love
Mordock comes in where they're keeping Bryce and Hunt and Rune at first, and he says they're going back and forth with him or whatever. And then he's talking to Hunt and he says, Regulus has a special interest in you lot, so he asked me to sniff around. He made a show of smelling Hunt. Maybe it's because your scent is wrong, Angel. Athalar growled, what the fuck does that mean? Mordok angled his head with mocking assessment, not like any other angel I've scented.
What does that mean then?
He's like a mix of everything. Kind of like Bryce. That's why they're mates.
They're mates because they're everything all
That's why
together.
he is kind of Fae. That's why they're full mates.
They're mates. Bryce and Hunt have to be mates.
And then I thought this was a little bit of foreshadowing, even though it's before she realizes, but she says, could Cormac get back here? He was their only shot at getting out of these chains and their only shot at survival.
I don't think he's coming back.
And then the harpy looks at Rune and she's like, you know how long it takes for a male to grow back his balls? Bryce gets really, really mad about her touching her brother. The
Wait,
harpy goes, like, really
Yeah.
mad. Get your hands off him, like, screaming at her. She's like, does it bother you, princess, to see all your males so roughly handled? Her eyes like the blackest hell. So pretty, she slid a blade down his cheek. It will be a shame to ruin such beauty. And then Hunt growls and he's like, come play with someone interesting. Hunt. Still
I
the
love
noble bastard, sliding the knife down the other side of Rune's face. And then she makes a jab about his tattoos. And she's like, the ink will be very messed up by the time we're done, or something like that. Like,
Oh no.
yeah, Bryce lunges
No.
against her chains, and Rune's heart cracked as she screams, get the fuck away from him. The harpy said, listening to you squeal while I carve him will be a delight, and slid the knife to the base of his throat. It would hurt because of his Vanir blood. He wouldn't die, not yet. He would keep healing and healing while she sliced him apart.
Oh my god. If
And
Sarah
then this is the part that really got to me. Get off him, Bryce bellowed again. The guttural roar thundered in the words, as fey as he'd ever heard his sister. The tip of the knife pierced his throat, its sting blooming, but he dove deep into the place where he'd always run to avoid his father's ministrations.
So she stabbed
Stabbed him
him.
a little. Yeah. Little bit. Yeah. And then the hind comes in and she like blasts her back. Like, get the fuck away from him, which is awesome. I
Oh, I
loved
love
that. And then she's like, Rune? And he's like, oh fuck. He's like, fuck. Like, you're dead. He's like, day? She's like, Rune?
Like Rune, or did she say night? What was it?
So she says night first, and then she has to say it again. And then she says Rune, Rune, and then yeah. Her voice
then
is different from when she's the hind. Like she like changes her voice, I guess. And he was like, her actual voice is like a lot higher, like nothing like the low tone she uses as the hind. And then of course like Pollux comes in and
What does Pollux do?
he he comes in and he like grabs Bryce off of Lydia because Lydia undoes her chain, so it looks like Bryce killed the harpy instead of Lydia because she's like, we need my connection to them still. Like I can't blow my cover for anything. She's like gonna let them be tortured or whatever, but I don't know. But anyway, Pollux comes in and Rune's automatically ruffled, obviously. He'd
Wait,
hurt her.
so does he
Pollux.
figure out? Does Rune figure out that she's sleeping with Pollux?
Oh yeah.
Or he knows?
Well,
Oh,
he knew it was Pollux because remember they were an item, whatever.
yeah.
So, um, Pollux smiled at him, slid a hand around the hind's blood-splattered throat, and kissed under her ear as he squeezed it. Do you like the way my lover looks, princeling? Something lethal snapped free at the hand on her neck, the way it squeezed and the slight glimmer of pain in her eyes. He hurt her, Pollux had hurt her again and again, and she'd voluntarily submitted so she could keep feeding the rebels intel. She'd endured a monster like Pollux for this. Maybe we'll put on a show for you before the end, Pollux said, and licked up her neck, lapping up the blood there. Rune bared his teeth in a silent snarl. He would kill him, slowly and thoroughly, punishing him for every touch and every hand he'd put on her in pain and torment. He had no idea where that landed him, why he wanted and needed that steel-clad wall between him and Lydia, even as his blood howled to murder Pollux. How he could abhor her and need her and be drawn to her in the same breath. And then he blocks her out of his mind. She banged against the black steel and stone over and over. Sounds like black adamant to me.
Mhm.
Rune, her voice broke again. Rune locked her out.
Oh God.
Ugh!
So those two are they're mates, obviously. I knew that. Like,
They didn't figure it out yet, but yeah, they're
they're for sure mates.
And this, I don't know if SJM did this as a fuck you to Tamlin's family again or what, but she's circling back to Reese's family's deaths for some reason, with a little bit of a mirror here at the beginning of chapter 76. Hunt stared at his severed wings mounted on the wall high above the Asteri's thrones. Shahar's pristine white wings were displayed above his, still glowing after all these centuries, right in the center of the array. Isaiah's were to the left of Hunt's. So many wings, so many fallen, all preserved here. He'd known the Asteri had kept them, but seeing them, ... Oh no! Just another display of chopped off wings. What the fuck? But we kind of know, we know that his father was working for the Asteri now because we know he was working with Highburn. And that's why they're enemies, the Night Court and the Spring Court. And that's why they didn't want Reese and Tamlin to be friends.
Why?
Because the Night Court was allied with the princes. And the Spring Court, because of his father, was allied with the Asteri through Highburn.
Okay, but also circling back to that quote, two different Fae, right? Rich in magic, if they unified against us. So
yeah.
Reese and Tamlin unifying against
yes.
them, right?
Yes. If like the shifters and the Fae unified again. Yeah.
Well, like that quote might possibly apply to multiple situations.
But I think it's specifically Reese and Tamlin. Because remember if we go back and call back to what Reese says about their history and how both of their fathers knew that together they would take them down.
Yeah.
And they were both stronger than their fathers even separately.
Yeah.
If Tamlin is not in this fucking book,
I'm honestly gonna be shocked.
Also, what is the point of Rigelis looking like a scrawny 17-year-old Fae boy? I still can't figure that out. Who the fuck is it?
Do you feel like it might be... So I'm confused because they need a host body.
Mm-hmm.
But like I also felt like maybe like do they mirror somebody? Like is that Theon? Is that the first like Fae warrior? Like,
but a 17-year-old, like a scrawny 17-year-old, like it's a
or
kid.
Is it, I don't know why, but like in my mind I feel like they kind of like he kind of sounds like Rhysand, right? Yeah.
Well, and Rigelis did shapeshift into Adis's cat form. So he can look like whatever he wants to look like. Was it Hunt as a teenager? And he's like, this is the age that your mom died. Like, is he showing him like this is when your life ended?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Wait a second. Regalis can change form into anything, so
Yeah.
he's like the bone carver?
Like the bone
Or no?
carver, like
Or no?
Koshi. I know. I know. And then we have this, which I couldn't wait to bring up.
What is it?
This is why I said hold on to that Reese's Apollyon theory real quick, because it's
Okay.
still possible.
Okay.
Rigellis sighed dramatically at the stunned silence. This all seems very familiar, doesn't it? A starborn queen who allied with a prince of hell, who trusted him deeply and ultimately paid the price. Hunt mastered himself enough to nod toward the seventh, always empty throne. Hell got one on you in the end, though, I think.
I love Hunt.
Rigelus's body glowed with ire, but his voice remained silky smooth. I look forward to facing Apollyon again. Mordok suspected that the Star Eater had been trying to get your attention these past weeks, to prod you along in his own way. And then Bryce says, so one of the princes of hell had been a fake, the other true. Apollyon really had sent the Deathstalkers, presumably to test Bryce's powers, just as Radulus also wanted and Hunt's own, and wanted it so badly that he was willing to risk her death should she not be up to the task. Apollyon must have known she'd need these skills, perhaps for this very moment. Talking about the winnowing, teleporting.
Okay.
I look forward to seeing Apollyon again.
What? I don't
Facing
understand.
him again.
Talk me through it. I don't get it.
We know that the war is going to be in Prythian. So who in Prythian is Apollyon? Because Rigelus is going to invade Prythian. He's going to find a way to invade Prythian because he wants revenge for them slaying his siblings, the Daglin.
Yeah.
And he says that here.
So here's my thing is there's a part of me that really believes the Apollyon theory. But then the other part is that it can't be true because that then he lied to Feyre, saying he's only 500 years old, saying he had a mom and a sister and all that shit, right? Like, then he lied about everything.
But it was good for a good reason. He was trying to save the world from the Asteri, okay? He knew this day was coming.
Sorry. Oh my gosh. I love it. It's so good. But like, do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
I mean, but like, really, who else could be Apollyon? I don't know.
Exactly.
Unless we truly haven't seen him
Unless
before.
it's just Kier, which I would be kind of annoyed because that's lame.
Kier is lame.
I mean, I get it because if he's Moore's dad.
Yeah.
But
how funny would it be if it was like Reese, Cassian, and like Az were also like Princes of Hell, and like Cassian was a prince of
Hell. All Princes of Hell. We don't know all the names of the Princes of Hell.
No, we don't.
There was a fourth that was mentioned at some point, but I forget what his name was.
Okay. I don't remember it either.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Because like, let's go through the princes. You have Adis, Thanatos, Apollyon. There's 7. So there's 4. Am I crazy? 4 missing?
Yeah.
Okay, so like Cassian.
So there was one that was named. I don't know what I think there was one other that was named. Let me look. Princess of Hell.
Yeah.
Princess of
What are their names?
Hell. Person City. I feel like I've looked this up so much and I just don't. So apparently I was wrong.
Oh,
'Cause
what?
it's only listing on the wiki, it's only listing those three. So
Okay. So we're missing like 4 names.
so we have the 4th layer, the 5th layer, and the 7th layer.
Hmm.
So the 4th layer is Hewn City, the ravine. The 5th layer, the chasm, is Adis's, where we don't really know where it is. And then we have the pit, which has to be the library. And then we have the hollow, the trench, canyon, and the abyss. Which the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd layers probably aren't that bad. Like the first 4 layers are apparently, or the first 5 layers are apparently not that bad according to Adis, and then like the 6th and 7th are terrible. I guess.
Interesting.
Um,
Very interesting.
yeah. Yeah,
Unless,
each darker than the last.
like, unless we truly don't know the princes and like the Hewn City is the entry point, the portal.
Maybe.
I think it's interesting that Regula says that they have access points in the Prithian world, and Thea was able to find them with her 2 princesses. So they have so he has multiple. They have multiple
Mhm.
access points. So Ramiel
Mhm.
under the mountain, right?
Well, Under the Mountain was just yeah, it was destroyed. Um,
The prison, possibly. We don't know.
Possibly. I just thought of something.
Hmm.
Project Third, going back to the whole Project Third thing, I don't know
No,
why.
I like it.
Um, we basically said that Tamlin and the sister figured it out, right?
Oh yeah, we both
So,
agree.
and the sister was pretty shut up by Amarantha and Asteri, right?
Which also,
And the mother, who, if she was a seer, she would know what the daughter knew.
yeah, yeah. So, I'm listen. Out of all of our theories, I mean, we have some really good ones, but like, I still stand by that Lauren
I,
Tamlin
I
theory.
know.
I stand by it
I stand by it too.
because I find it odd she only mentions Lauren in a bonus chapter. Why mention her at all?
The bonus chapters have all the best shit in them.
They seriously do, and like you said, Rune put up a wall of black,
Yeah.
like whatever it was, stone, like
Black
just
adamant. Yeah.
adamant, like Rhysand does.
So I still don't understand that person's comment of him having spring powers because I never saw it.
Okay, I never saw that either, and I'm not quite sure I understand what that person said. Like,
I don't understand it.
I don't see the spring powers anywhere.
Yeah. There's a part, again, I'm fucking looking through these pages, but um also she says that Azrael's wings are black. But I mean, whatever. We know that they're kind of like all different colors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because well, in the sun they're all different colors, I
Yeah,
guess. There
but
is a part that Rigelis again is talking to. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is, I think. Yes. Okay, I found it. Found it. So Bryce is kind of dumb at the end of the book. Like she's smart the whole time. And then when she gets to Prithian, it's like her smarts just turn off.
oh, great.
Because remember, she was like, hell, hell, this is hell, this is hell, this is hell. I'm like, Rigelis literally told you where your star would take you, and it wasn't hell.
Unless it is the same. I don't know.
First of all, I'm gonna give you a big spoiler.
Go ahead.
You're gonna get really mad. Oh, have you read the part with Celestina and her lover
I
yet?
have not. I have not.
Fuck, can I just tell you?
Just tell me. I'm gonna read it.
Um,
It's not like I'm not going to know.
yeah. So basically, Hunt and Bryce go to this, like fancy whatever party for Celestina and Ephraim's mating ceremony.
Okay.
Their mating ceremony. And with like all the guests and everything. And so she breaks off the engagement with Cormac like in front of everybody as a princess.
That's really humiliating. I don't like that she did that.
Well, it was only to humiliate Einar. He was pissed. He was pissed. He goes, "You little bitch." Like he was pissed. You little bitch. Like
He said
she was like, I know he's gonna get me for this one. But
Bryce
yeah,
said that.
she's like talking to Celestina and Ephraim or whatever, and she was like, "Oh, congrats on your thing" or whatever. She's like, "Hunt and I are mates" or whatever, and then she's like something about like, "Oh, like by the way, I'm not gonna I'm breaking off the engagement with like Prince Cormac or whatever." Like she says it to the whole room, and Cormac is pissed because he didn't know she was gonna do that either.
Oh, Bryce.
I
Come on,
know. I
dude.
know. Like it was badass just because of the Autumn King. Like he was so mad.
Yeah.
And Rune's like, fuck. Like, fuck. But he stands by Bryce, of course, which
Who?
the Autumn King, Rune. He was like, "Oh, I fully support this," or whatever. And like the Autumn King just gets even more mad. Like,
I
just
love
so
that they're
mad.
both like fucking with
It's
him.
that was an awesome scene. I felt really bad for Cormac, but that was an awesome scene. Because like we know the Autumn King has a temper. We see the temper. He threatens Rune. He threatens Bryce. He's like, "You fucking, like, you little bitch." Like, yeah, so mad. Like, and yeah. But anyway, that was my point. Bryce and Hunt sneak off to do it. And they find like a coat closet or whatever. And they open the coat closet. And it's Celestina. And she is not with Ephraim. She's with Hypaxia.
Oh, come on, dude.
Come on.
Really?
And yeah, so they're secret lovers. That's why Hypaxia didn't want to marry Bryce. That's why she didn't want to be mated to Ephraim, even though the Asteri are making them be mates. And basically, through the whole thing, Hunt is like, Celestina is like, "Yeah, I'll go to his place next month or whatever if there's no change in my situation." And he's like, "Until she's pregnant." Like the Asteri basically told her, like, "You have to get pregnant." And he's like, "Another little archangel to turn into their slave."
Yeah.
Or whatever. So he felt like really bad for her. And yeah. So it says Hunt said one last try, "You're full of shit and Mordok should get his nose checked. We're not rebels. Celestina can vouch for us." Radulus laughed and Hunt bristled. "Celestina, you mean the archangel who reported to me that you lied about going to visit Miss Quinlan's family a few weeks ago and then reported to me immediately when she saw you leave the barracks heavily armed?"
What a bitch.
Love is a trap, Celestina had told him. Was this her way of protecting what she loved, proving her trustworthiness to the Asteri by selling out Hunt and his friends so that they might react kindly if they learned about Hypaxia? Had she any idea that the witch she loved was even involved? I was rooting for her! That little bitch!
Well,
You know what? I don't feel bad for you. I hope you're miserable until you die. Be
I
with
was gonna,
Ephraim, bitch. I hope you
you
have a
know
million
what?
babies.
I hope she gets what's coming to her. That bitch.
Was so nice at first. I was like, did I not say that was a little sus?
It was sus. It was super sus. I'm
Yeah,
really
and
now.
then she might have once been a friend of Shahar Orion, but with so much personally on the line for her, she is no friend to you. So Regulus even knows about that. At least not when it comes to protecting those she cherishes most. So, like, he fucking knows everything.
Yeah, he knows she was sheer hypaxia.
Why are you doing this? Rune asked. It is a matter of survival, though her first task for us shall be one of a personal matter, I think. You're going to attack Hell, Hunt breathed. Was that what Apollyon was anticipating, why he'd kept telling them again and again that Hell's armies were readying? Not to attack this world, but to defend Hell itself, to ally with any who would stand against the Asteri. He said, no, even Hell is not at the top of our list of those from whom we shall exact revenge. The star in your chest, do you know what it is? Let's assume that I know nothing. It is a beacon to the world from which the Fae originally came. It sometimes glows when nearest the Fae who have undiluted bloodlines from that world. Prince Cormac, for example. It glowed for Hunt. It also glows for those who you choose as your loyal companions, known as knights. So what? So that star will lead us back to that world. Through you. They overthrew our brethren who once ruled there. We have not forgotten. Our initial attempt at revenge was foiled by your ancestor, who also bore that star in her chest. The Fae have still not atoned for the deaths of our brothers and sisters. Their homeworld was rich in magic, and I crave more of it.
So wait a second. Go back for me. Her star
We'll lead
shines
her to
for-
Prithian.
No,
We'll
that,
take her
but-
to Prithian, like
Right,
where she belongs.
No, but it's not that. It shines for the undiluted bloodlines and her personal knights. So
Like
Hunt
Knights
is,
of the Round Table, it's like King Arthur.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Hunt's her personal knight,
Hunt,
right?
Rune, Ethan. Mm-hmm. And this part kind of reminded me of Feyre. I think she was trying to do a mirror to Feyre here at Highburn. It says,
Okay.
Bryce shook, but Hunt's heart cracked as she squared her shoulders. My bargain still holds. If you let Hunt and Rune go freely and unharmed forever, I will help you. Like Feyre, like, let them go, and I'll stay here.
And so he definitely doesn't let them go, even though she helps him.
He definitely doesn't.
No.
Also,
So-
Juniper is a real bitch. She never answered her phone for her.
So Juniper is a horrible friend.
I know we're like jumping, but I just wanted to say that.
No, you're good. You're good. Juniper was a horrible friend. When Bryce was suicidal, she like never checked on her, never hung out with her. Fury was a piece of shit too.
Fury was a piece of shit.
She was. She like wouldn't answer her call. It was like really bizarre. We don't even know the reason why.
Mm-mm.
Right? Do we even hear of Fury in the second half of Crescent City, or is she just like completely rogue?
Yeah, like Bryce mentions her a couple times, but it's just like Fury's the one that gives them the blueprint
Yeah, of the lab.
of the palace, like the lab, the palace, whatever. And like Bryce knows that she's like been in the palace and did some like freelance work for the palace. And that
Gotcha.
made me think that Fury is the mercenary.
I told you.
You're right. I know. I was
I
like,
thought-
I was like, oh, it is it is Fury. Damn. Damn. I kind of wanted a scene like very quickly with like her and Juniper to see if she had the scars that the mercenary had. I wonder if that'll be in CC3 too.
I'm curious. I don't know. I'm like very intrigued by this. And then so Fury and Juniper, we are doing their own thing at the end of Crescent City.
Yeah, Juniper never answered her phone for her, but she left her a really cute voicemail. And then Rigelis was like, so adorable, that voicemail you left Juniper Andromeda. Like, how the fuck do you know?
Or is Juniper like working for him? Like, do
Like
they report?
his Fury. I'm concerned.
I'm
You
concerned.
left such a noble audio mail for your friend Juniper. Of course, once I heard it, I knew there was only one place you could be going, here to me, precisely as I had planned. Fury!
Yeah, that's gonna be a problem.
I was rooting for her too.
I was too. I mean, they might both betray Bryce.
Cormac's their only hope.
He's dead. I'm
Who
convinced
else?
he could. It's got to be Bryce and Reese. That's it. It's Bryce and Reese. That's it.
Bryce and Reese.
Bryce and Reese.
Phasand.
And
Fucking
Phasand.
Phasand. Fucking
Yeah.
Phasand. There's one more part that I really wanted to address quickly.
Okay. Yeah. And then
again, if I can fucking find it. I'm always just like screenshot.
that's what I do. I'm like, I'm gonna send this to Mel later, and I never do. While you're looking for that,
yeah.
I think Tamlin's fate, unfortunately, is gonna be like him dying while confronting the Asteri.
They better not.
It's the only thing.
Like, why don't him and Reese have last names? I'm getting mad. Like Lucian Vansera, Eris Vansera. Fucking what the hell? The Night Court doesn't have last names. The Spring Court doesn't have last names, but the Autumn Court has a last name.
Yeah.
I can't find it right now. But anyways, they're fighting Rigelis and Hunt. No, Bryce. It's when she's teleporting away from him.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, like, crap, I can't teleport a long distance because they do have a ton of wards on this palace. They didn't think that there were wards there. And she goes, he has a ton of, like, really strong wards on this palace. And that reminded me of the wards at Highburn. Because remember, Feyre had to explode with light to break the wards.
Oh, I don't remember that. I thought she just exploded with lights to like break the bargain.
She broke the wards with the light, and Highburn was like freaked out because of the light. But then he was cocky, and then he like turned his attention back toward the sisters and everything. And when the wards were down, that's after she exploded, that's when she was like, Tamlin, what happened? I don't remember, because the wards were down and she wanted them to escape.
Yeah.
So she could only winnow 10 feet at a time because of all the wards. So I go, Highburn is definitely a fucking Daglin, a fucking Asteri. So was Amarantha.
Well, which if Amarantha and Highburn were, it would explain like why Reese would maybe be willing to bed her, because he would learn like secrets of the Asteri. But also, yeah, like maybe that's why he's not surprised by Bryce, because but he knew that beforehand. Because he made that orrery when he was like a teenager. Okay, never mind.
Rigelis could have, well, if he's not Apollyon, it could have been Reese's teenage form.
That's what I'm saying.
But also, who helped him make an orrery? The daddy wasn't helping him.
Or
mother?
Or is Reese a seer? He could be, because I mean you have to think about like he kind of planned out like the Feyre thing a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like,
but then wouldn't he kind of recognize Elaine as a seer? Like, wouldn't he have the, I don't know, like the lapses and kind of like she does?
But he was really quiet during that, wasn't he?
I know.
Did you notice that? Like
he
never said like anything about Elaine's status. Never.
Oh, Elaine is Elaine. What?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Really weird. It's really weird. I'm really excited to read Crescent City 3, but I'm also going to be like sad at the end of it, because then like I feel like there's no more mystery. We're like everything
might be like, some. I don't know.
Maybe.
Oh, here it is. Whatever.
You found it?
Yeah. Again and again, she teleported. Rigelis shot his power at her, and she leapt through space, ward to ward. Zigging and zagging, glass and countless statues of the Asteri's egos shattering, the gate nearing, and then she blasted her light into him. Lands 10 feet from the gate's gaping maw and kept running. Rigulus roared as Bryce jumped into the awaiting darkness. It caught her sticky like a web, time slowed to a glacial drip. Rigulus was still roaring and lunging. So, remember in Hybern when Feyre is like showing all of her magic or whatever, and Tamlin lunges for her?
Mhm.
And she's like, time slowed as I winnowed back, and then Rhys punched him in the face.
So awful.
Is that a Starborn thing?
Is that well? And we know that Bryce and Feyre are they both
Elementals,
smell
kinda.
like lilac, right?
Hmm.
So
I'm
this
kind of mad that it's why?
that what?
Why?
Oh, I know. Like, come on, guys. So Feyre got the Dusk Court power, basically.
Yeah. The gate swallowed her whole. She fell slowly and without end and sideways. Not a plunge down, but a yank across.
Interesting.
I also want to note Nesta's the only one who can wield all of the Dread Trove at the same time.
That's true.
That
we know of.
that means that Nesta can literally wield Bryce. So is she gonna be the battery pack for Bryce because Hunt is gone now?
That would be pretty fucking bomb.
Right?
That's
I'm like, the horn is in her back. Nesta can literally wield Bryce as a weapon. And I find it very convenient that Nesta, aside from Amryn, is the first female that sees her. Because Amryn walks in, and then Nesta and Cassian walk in. And then Moore comes out, I think, from like the kitchen or something. She's, I don't know, there somewhere. I think she's there. And yeah, Nesta and Cassian come in, and then she's like, the like jolly one or whatever, like said something, and then the golden-haired one said something that sounded like a reprimand. So, and then she's like, and their clothing, it's like something out of a fantasy show.
I love it.
Nesta
I'm
in
like,
her long dresses with her novels just tucked against her.
I
And
love
then, of
Nesta.
course, like
I love-
Rhys and Feyre walk in, and she's like,
What does she say? Does she like fangirl over both of them?
no, she thinks that Rhys is Rune, and she says that there's actual stars in his eyes, and
Yeah.
he's just staring at her.
Which is a weird reaction to have.
Well, he has a pattern of acting that way when he knows something. Because remember how I pointed out that after Eris lets him into his mind and Moore brings up, how Eris hurt her or whatever, how Az and Cassian are always pissed and Rhys just kind of stays quiet.
Rhysand.
Rhys, I cannot wait to face Apollyon again.
I'm like, I don't know though, but like maybe Rhys is gonna die, and that would be if you're gonna pick someone to die, like maybe pick Feyre, but personal
Okay,
opinion.
I'm shocked, but people on Instagram are convinced, or some people on Instagram are convinced that it's going to be Phasand.
I've been seeing that lately, and I think it
I'm
might
so
be.
happy.
But then I'm like not gonna have anyone to knock on anymore. Like Feyre dies, who am I gonna bitch about? But like for real, I do think there's a high probability it's them, and that's why they had Nyx come into play. And like
Maybe.
I'm actually gonna be kind of upset if they die.
Can I talk about a mirror real quick that I meant to tell you the other day? Or I might have texted it to you. I texted it to the group too. I don't know if I specifically texted it to you, but I might have. I think I did.
Yeah,
I was overtired. I don't remember who I texted it to, but This was in the bonus chapter of the Barnes and Noble exclusive edition.
Okay.
And they Bryce and Cormac are at a party between between families, Cormac's family and Flynn's family.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. And it says that Flynn says, or Cormac says, the Hawthorns and the Donnells go back generations. This is between our families only, and since you are supposedly about to become part of mine, you are expected to be there. So the Hawthorns and the Donnells. Flynn has earth magic. And Rune, his mother's Lauren Donnell, and Cormac Donnell, has shadow magic. It's giving Reese and Tamlin.
It is giving Reese and Tamlin vibes. And it's funny because there's like a constant talk about these families that have been friends. Like, you know what I mean?
A
And
lot.
yeah, these people that have been friends.
So then they go in and they confront Lord and Lady Hawthorne, Flynn's parents, Tristan's parents. I find it funny. His first name is Tristan. So we have Tristan and Tamlin, who are earth magic. And we have Reese and Rune, who are shadow magic. But anyway, Lord Hawthorne assessed Bryce, distaste filling his gaze, but he said nothing. She didn't look to confirm how many people were smirking at her cold reception. And then Flynn goes to his parents, I believe the term you're looking for is Your Highness. They were so pissed at him.
I love it.
Yeah, and then she's like, hey, B. And she's like, good to see you. Flynn's mother merely looked Bryce over with that cool disdain, and his father frowned. And then we have, be on your best behavior, boy, his father growled. Growled. Again, I just have notes on everything. I'm sorry.
No, I love your
trying
notes.
to get through it.
No, are you kidding? They're so impressive. I wish I could sit and take notes, and when I have time again, I will.
Oh, here it is. They might have looked alike in body and face, but the two males could not have been more different. She's talking about Tristan and his dad. Rumor had it the house's spectacular gardens were the result of the elder Lord Hawthorne's earth magic. But how a male so hard-hearted could produce such lovely things was beyond Bryce. Hard-hearted. Like a heart of stone, perhaps?
A hard-hearted man who has such a beautiful garden. Do we know that? Yeah. Have we seen that before? Yeah.
Bryce also notes his mother's flowing blonde hair and green eyes.
Oh, come on. You want to know what? I swear to God, if Tamlin isn't in the next,
he could be a Havellan, like a cousin to the Hawthorns. Yeah. TH. What the fuck?
Listen.
And then we have this. Anyway, then we have this, which just was the nail in the coffin for me.
Stop. I'm like,
that they're the same two chords. Okay. Flynn drank again. I'm surprised you allowed the Prince of Assholes to drag you here. Part of the deal, keeping up appearances and whatnot. Flynn snorted. Yeah, same. Flynn might act like the playboy, but there were some duties even he couldn't shirk. She watched his carefully neutral face, the boredom he plastered there. Who was the male beneath all that, beneath the partying and irreverence? She arched a brow. You really hate all of this, don't you? His brows lifted. Why are you so surprised? Keep in mind they're at a party. She shrugged. I don't know. I feel like I owe you an apology for not realizing it sooner. He winked, but his amusement faded as he said, a shade quietly. That's why Rune and I became friends, you know, because we both hate this crap, and we have ever since we were kids. Mic drop. Rune and Tristan hated parties, had bad dads, bonded over that. I think I've heard this story before.
Yeah. I'm
I was like,
telling I just if it isn't the truth, then I know nothing about Sarah J. Maas.
that was a very fucking specific mirror. Earth and shadow magic. Tristan and Tamlin.
Cold hard or a hard
Rune and
heart
Reese.
yeah.
Cold-hearted male. Blonde hair and green-eyed mom.
Yeah. I will be pleasantly surprised if Crescent C3 pans out how we think it's gonna be. I'll be thrilled.
I'm so excited.
And you want to know what? Like everything that you and I have talked about, it only confirms the Lauren Tamlin theory to me.
Their families have known each other for generations. They're connected.
They're totally connected for years and years and years. Come on, guys.
So if Tamlin is a Havellan, you know what that means?
No.
It means that he's connected to Danica by a female line.
Okay.
But he's also connected to Flynn, probably through his father. I'm thinking that Flynn's mom was Tamlin's father's, I don't know, sister or something. They don't like females.
Yeah.
Could have gotten out too, the same way.
Yeah. Possibly.
And then there was the very end, the very, very last part of that bonus chapter made me squeal and kick my feet like a little kid because because it reminded me of something, but I'll tell you. So, she was talking about Hunt, and she said Hunt had done that for her. She'd never stop being grateful for it for him. Bryce's heart tightened, and something brighter than starlight filled her veins. It remained shimmering and secret, glowing inside of her for the rest of the day. And you know what that reminds me of?
I do. Say it.
But Azrael tucked away the thought, consciously erasing the slight smile it brought to his face, buried the image down deep where it glowed quietly, a thing of secret, lovely beauty.
When are happening?
Oh my god. She ended both bonus chapters with their mates. Because right before that quote, that ending quote, when she said like Hunt had done that for her, she was like talking about them being like mates and like connected and all of that. Sarah.
We have two mates. It's literally Bryce and Hunt, Az and Gwen, Elaine and Lucian. Like you can't tell me.
Also, the fact that she said that there's going to be a Pegasus in every book going forward.
Well, I actually don't understand what she's talking about with that, because I'm like, so are you just saying that Bryce is going to be in every single book because Bryce is
No. Gwen and Nesta made a Pegasus during their tea party.
I know, but it was like a miniature one that they like.
They brought one to life.
It was miniature.
Yeah, it was miniature, kind of like Jelly Jubilee. But also when they were doing research on the Valkyries used to ride
The Pegasus.
Yeah. Right? So we have Gwen being a Valkyrie, one day riding a Pegasus in their book. And then who else owns Pegasi?
Helion.
And who is Helion? Lucian's dad, who is Lucian's mate. Elaine.
So okay, so it's gonna pan out.
Valkyries and Day Court. Hello. Who trains the Valkyries? Azriel and Cassian. Who has a daddy that owns Pegasus? Lucian. Who's his mate? Elaine. Daycourt. Who's always equated to sunshine? Lucian and Elaine. Who is always sitting near the sunniest fucking window of the house? Elaine. Even during the second High Lord meeting after the war, Feyre says Elaine had taken up the sunniest window in the decrepit manor. Like,
so are you saying that it's gonna be from here on out the Gwenriel, Illusion, and then Helion and Lady A might get a book?
So I'm guessing the novella will be more in Eris.
Yeah.
But if Eris becomes High Lord and Baron dies,
Yeah.
Lady Autumn would go back to Helion. And maybe she would remark on how well Elaine is doing with her Pegasi riding lessons. Just like float by the window.
Can you imagine a fucking day court Illusion?
I cannot wait.
I'd bow. I would bow. I'd be like, fuck yeah.
Do you know how beautiful that's going to be? Because Elaine has already expressed how put off she is about violence, like unnecessary violence, how she needs sunshine, like how she's not a warrior. And there's people who are like, oh, she's gonna become a spy master with Azriel. Like, she immediately gave Truth Teller back. Like, she was traumatized from stabbing Highburn. And he was a bad guy. She's not gonna become a warrior and a spy master.
Yeah.
That's why she's a seer. So she can do shit without doing legwork.
Yeah. Did you see that one? Oh my god, it was the most beautiful illusion. I mean, there's beautiful
I've
illusion
seen so many. I love Daycourt illusion art, so I look it up all the time.
I do too. I especially look up Daycourt Lucian because Lucian in a toga with
glowing, with his muscles and the sun halo
does something to me.
And also Elaine always wearing like light pink and light purple, and Cassian being like, black drains the life out of Elaine. Like, she is not staying in the Night Court.
I know you've seen it. There's an art that her name's like Podrugova or something. I'll have to send it to you. I think she's a Russian. She draws the most beautiful illusions I have ever seen. And I am here for
it. Daycourt Illusion and Little Mermaid Gwenriel are like my favorite. Or even like Valkyrie Warrior Gwenriel, they're like my thing.
And that's the thing is too, is like I love Azrael. Like, okay, him and Elaine, yeah, but like I don't know, like the problem is Illusion's gonna be hard to write Illusion, to make them come together. I mean, they are both super messed up right now. Super, like and I have to say, like, Elaine's such to him that.
But that's the point of a slow burn, and that's why Gwenriel's book is first. I honestly think that we're gonna get Gwenriel's book, and then, or we might actually see. Sarah might just give us the fucking novella first.
No, she says she's giving us the novel.
The book? Okay. So I think it'll be Gwenriel. And like him and Moore will discuss their shit finally, hopefully. Moore telling her truth will lead into the Moore and Eris novella.
Annoying.
And then Eris has to make up with his baby brother Lucian. And then maybe he'll be like, I'll help you with your mate. I don't know. And Moore was also like, don't worry, they'll be happy. So then that will lead into the Illusion book, finally. And then we don't know if there will be any after that. I feel like there would be. Again, there should be a Tamlin book to round out the series.
I feel like if Tamlin gets a book, it might be the last book. Yeah.
It has to be the last book. Like full circle.
That's what I mean. Is it's gonna start and end like with him, I think.
It has to.
I don't
Full
know.
circle.
I don't know. Full circle. But
If my Briar thing is true,
yeah.
the
I still love your Briar theory.
well, Akatar was a human girl turned fae, fell in love with Tamlin.
Yeah.
Briar, a human girl turned fae, fell in love with Tamlin. Except this time they're actually mates.
You
And
know
he
what?
actually is happy.
I would be here for it. I want to see a healthy Tamlin and people recognizing like
He just
that he's pretty
fucking
fucking
needs love.
yeah.
He's so
I don't know.
deprived.
Have you seen lately the anti-Tamlin stuff has really ramped it up on the internet again? And I think it's because
can't.
there's more I know, I think it's because there's more people coming out like supporting Tamlin and then like they feel like they gotta ramp it again. Don't you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually happy for a few months because a lot of people were like, I just did another reread, and maybe this isn't exactly what the fandom says, and
Yeah.
maybe this isn't exactly, how it happened just because Farah says it did, or just because she felt this way. And I'm like, no fucking shit. Take yourself
Well,
out of her whiny ass rose-colored glasses for 2 fucking seconds, and anyone can see that the context is swayed.
it's totally swayed, but like that's what's shocking is what people take for face like they just take it for face value. Like think about other people's like point of views and that's really scary to me that people don't think about that.
No,
But
I don't know. Do you
I feel
think
like we're
do you think Tamlin is a dread wolf? Do you think like that's the other kind of fae?
I don't because I don't think so. Why do you think that?
Because when they first see Mordok, they describe him as someone who's like almost consistently in a state of half fae, half wolf. And they mention his gleaming claws are out as he's like prowling for people. And I was like, hmm.
Well, so is Tamlin like a bloodhound too? Could he sniff out bloodlines? That would be
Well, that's why I think he knew about Farah's Starborn. And that's why he didn't want her to train, right?
it could be.
Because she would like turn into a living beacon, and then it would attract the Asteri, aka Highburn, who
He
wanted
has
her.
yeah, he has to know about the Asteri. I truly think Tamlin does. And I think Tamlin and Rhysand know about or all the
Tamlin
High
also
Lords.
has a library with
Yeah.
children's books, but he has a library.
I love
library.
him. I
But
love Tam.
but then that makes me believe that Rhys is Apollyon again. Because he uses her as bait for the adder, which is literally like Asteri monsters, whatever that they're using.
Mhm.
And he says like, I wanted to see who came for you first.
So is he like is the Asteri gonna be coming?
I wanted to see who came for you first. Who, Rhys?
Who else, sir?
Who else other than Tamlin, who would be looking for her to save her from you? But do you think Tamlin knows that he's I don't know. Do you think that he knows that like his father was attached to the Asteri, and that like Rhys is either a prince of hell or descended from a prince of hell or attached to the princes of hell?
Well, I I do because I keep going back to that fucking High Lords meeting, and
I
he's like,
know.
I always forget
Forget what you
who.
are.
And I think that was like kind of like a double meaning there. Like I think it was
Yeah.
like I always forget who you are, but
Like, oh,
literally,
just because of the wings? Like,
yeah, yeah, like that's like what I mean. Like it can't be that.
does.
These two, and that's why like Rhys and Tamlin, you know what? All these Phasanders who want Tamlin to die, you could say that as much as you want, but Rhys and Tamlin need each other. Like and like I know people don't believe that. Like I feel like they're honestly like
they just like balance each other out.
yeah.
Like,
They
whereas
balance.
Rhys
So I know nobody will agree with us, but like Reese is more of like the aloof, like, oh, like I will put you in danger to test you, and I need this done, so I'm going to use you to get this done because it has to get done. And
Right.
Tamlin's more of the, oh, well, when he fucks up, I'll clean up the mess and
Yeah.
I'll play the hero and, I'll give myself over to the cause.
Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, don't you think they kind of balance each other out, but they're also like they like need each other. They're weirdly tied to each other. Like,
It's kind of weird.
I don't know.
I
Maybe I'm wrong.
found the quote
Okay. Good.
about
Well, we're
Mordok.
gonna end on this quote.
No, I'm
I'm
sorry.
gonna get
There's like so much. Sorry.
2 hours of sleep.
It says I said, is Tamlin a dreadwolf like Mordok? It says the dreadwolf monitored the alley with golden glowing eyes, like Tamlin's. Dark claws glinted at his fingertips as if he lived in some state between human and wolf.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
human, but fae.
That's I mean, that's actually not a bad
And we know
thought.
that he's huge in beast form.
Tamlin?
Yeah.
Or Mordok?
Both, I think. They're
Yeah.
both. Because even Ethan's like, the dreadwolves aren't really wolves, they're huge monsters. Like,
I love
and then
Ethan.
they're like,
Foster brothers. So
which
awesome.
which Tamlin really isn't because he's fae. He's a fae shifter. So are the dreadwolves just fae shifters? Like the two different types of fae?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised because I mean, Ragelis basically said that.
If he's related to both Danica and Tristan,
I don't know.
I'm leaning more toward Flynn.
Yeah, I am too.
But if
definitely
he's a
so.
Havellan, well, Danica, well, he would technically be their cousin,
Yeah.
but on both sides of his family.
I don't know. I'm like so excited for CC3.
I don't know. I told you in Crescent City 1 when I was like, Flynn's Earth magic. And I was like, everyone is like, Earth magic is so rare here. And I was like, parents. And then when the mom was like blonde hair and green eye, I was like,
yeah.
Again in the bonus chapter.
Of course it's a bonus chapter. But the good thing is that you and I, between us, I purchased, I'm not gonna admit to it on the podcast.
I was going to pre-order the Books a Million edition too.
Wait, which chapter?
It's the Ember and Randall.
Guess what? I'm getting it, so I'm gonna let you see it.
Do you know what it says?
What?
The little like blurb about it?
That they make like a special friend or something?
Yeah. It centers around Bryce's parents, Ember and Randall, who meet unexpected friends.
Who the fuck those friends?
I'm sorry. What? What? Who? Friends?
Or is it gonna be like a bunch of like human Thunderbirds and everyone like comes together Marvel style?
Jurian and Vasa? The other human couple. Jurian and Vasa are still both outstanding plot lines. And we know that they're not getting a book.
They are not.
They're not. Well, as far as we know, they're not. So I'm kind of gonna be annoyed if SJM is just like, kill all the humans, and Vasa dies from the curse when they defeat Koshi, and Jurian gets killed in this war, and again, oh no! Jurian's an Ian.
Jurian. They're dead.
Cassian and Baxian. 3.
They're dead. There's three deaths. You don't even have to read Crescent City 3 because Mel and I already told you the whole fucking plotline.
All the Ians are dead.
They all die. Every one of them.
Die.
Emil apparently has powers, the kid that nobody thought about has powers. We can tell you that much.
I still think Ember is related to Helion. I think everyone's related, but I still think Ember's related to. She's a female fucking Helion. They have the same description. And again, there is no fucking way that Bryce is that powerful having a human mom. There just isn't.
No. Dude, Ember can't be human. They probably just bred out her pointy ears and she had no idea.
The special friends are going to be them like meeting with her real family or something. Or Ember's gonna be Danica. Oh, I knew exactly what was gonna happen, like the Asteri the whole time. Like, and then like Emil is now Cooper, and there's that whole thing. Like, that was dropped real fucking fast.
Well, and her reaction in the interview is so sus. Apparently, it's going to be a huge plot line because they get a bonus chapter after. Well, it's weird because they get a bonus chapter after Crescent City 3, right?
Did she say it was? It could be in the middle. Like Azrael's was in the middle.
It was as yeah, it was in the middle.
It's so like.
I would do. Do you know what I would do to be like one of her editors?
I know. I keep looking up. You know what I keep looking up because I'm a delusional bitch. I keep looking up House of Flame and Shadow arcs on my fucking phone just to see if anybody has one, if anybody's selling one. Like,
please pick us, okay?
If there's any signups anywhere on the dark net, I'm like, please, I need to know. I can't wait 3 months.
It's January, right?
Yeah, 30th.
Oh man, that's so far away.
I know. But ooh, Ember, if she's related to Helion, more Pegasi. More Pegasi. It's gonna be Ember teaching Randall how to ride a Pegasus.
The Pegasus are the special friends they meet.
Meowlin and his mate.
Oh my god, I love you so much. You're so cute.
Randall and Meowlin, they both have 2 L's. Is Randall a Pegasi shifter?
Oh god. Do not do that. Do not.
Hey, people think that Bryce's animal form is a Pegasus, okay? So
no. Like
she's gonna become Jelly Jubilee.
That's I'm sorry, but that's insane.
Okay, we're insane, but we're not. Bryce is gonna be a Pegasus. Insane.
Okay, clearly that's like where we draw the line.
There can be leopard shifters and deer shifters and fawns, but we draw the line at there being unicorn Pegasus shifters.
There's not Pegasus shifter, okay? That's where the line is drawn.
She'll gets her one for her birthday.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. Gotta go. It's like so late. I gotta be up in like 2 hours for the kids.
Ember asked her brother for a Pegasus for Bryce's birthday. 26th birthday. 26 strings on the harp, 26 planets.
Stop. Okay, stop it right now. Okay. All right. I gotta go.
Bye.
Bye.